Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Home Life with Rebecca. This is Tea Tuesday, and so we're going to talk some more about parenting teenagers. So happy Halloween, first of all. I'm going to try to make this video short and sweet because I do want to film some of my kiddos trick-or-treating tonight. I feel like this is probably the last year I'm going to have some of the kids with me besides Kennedy trick-or-treating, as they're all getting older and want to do things with their friends, and it's not the same. I kind of miss it when they were all little and I got like a group picture of everybody dressed up, and I'd always wanted to do like a family costume, like be like the Scooby-Doo characters. They're all dressed up as Care Bears. I've seen people do like various things, but we've never had the money to do something like that, and now I kind of feel like it's too late. Well, maybe not too late, maybe when they're older, or maybe someday when I have grandkids. But anyway, a few of them, like Kennedy, Wes, and Jillian, I will be taking out later tonight with some of their friends, and I'm not sure what my older kids have going on, so I did get a couple pictures of them in like costumes, so I will share that in the Halloween video, the trick-or-treating video, I guess, that I will probably put out tomorrow. But I was going to go back to the parenting the love and logic way. We talked about having, imagining different scenarios in your head to practice those, how to like disengage, especially if you have teenagers, because most of my kids are preteen or teenagers. I have 6 kids, so my youngest is 9 and my oldest is 18. But this does apply to, the school age year as well, and even toddlers, 2-3 years old as well also. But it's kind of, last week we talked about disengaging. So if your child is arguing with you, having key phrases like "I love you too much to argue," or what was another one, "I argue at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings," things like that, that you keep in place so that your teenager knows, okay, mom and dad are serious. They don't want to talk about this right now, and I'm only making it worse for myself, basically, because the more you try to engage and argue back, you just get caught in this vicious cycle, and you're either giving in or they're totally stressing you out, or in turn you're also stressing out your teenager, because in reality, I find that most kids, especially the teenage years, really do want structure in their life because, hormones are raging and everything's very chaotic. And in this day and age with social media and peer pressure and just everything going on, having that structure in their life, and parents that are firm with their morals and their beliefs, is going to be better for them in the long run. So today I wanted to talk about empathy, and we touched on it a little bit last week, but empathy is so important, and you can have key phrases for this too. So this could go if they're trying to do something that you don't want them to do, or if they're genuinely upset and you might not understand fully why they would be upset about that situation. This just helps you have that empathy so that you still remain the good guy, and your child's poor decision that they have made, or the way they're feeling about a poor decision that has affected them or one of their friends or something, becomes the bad person, not you, because you are being empathetic to their situation. And so say they come to you about a problem with a friend or a boyfriend or girlfriend, and it might seem totally ridiculous, or how is this important, whatever it might be. Of course, I can't think of a good example. Let them pretty much word vomit all over you, let them get it all out, and just say things like, "That is so sad. What a bummer. How sad. Oh man. Dang, this really stinks. Oh, that is never good." And just keep your voice very empathetic. Don't overreact. Don't be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to kick their butts," or "I'm going to call their parents right now." Don't overreact, because you need to be very calm. And I know that's really hard to do, and you can use those same words when they are, again, trying to argue with you or to do something or explain something that you might not agree with. Oh, That is really sad. So sad. Dang. Oh my gosh, that really stinks. Because it's letting them get their feelings out, and they feel like, and they don't even have to feel like, because you're listening to them. And that's so important, because I think a lot, especially the teenage years, when they're coming into their own and they think they know everything and they think you don't understand anything ever, which sometimes we really don't. The generation gap with the Gen Zers I feel like it's pretty drastic. And so a lot of times we don't understand, but a lot of the things we can understand and we do relate to, because we were still teenagers once. And maybe like for me, when I graduated high school, like, you know, the internet was just becoming a thing, but I still struggled with peer pressure, and I still struggled with wanting to fit in, or, you know, I still wanted to do things that I knew my parents weren't going to approve of. You know, I think that's been, you know, across the board for generations and generations. So it's just allowing them to speak their feelings, and they call it like word vomiting. And just let them do that, because you want to be their safe person. So empathy is just so important. It says in here, as we become more and more convinced that empathy is the most powerful skill known to humankind, we can teach the following, where, as I tried to say before, empathy allows your child's poor decision to remain the bad guy, while allowing you to remain the good guy. While it's not always easy to remain calm and empathetic, when things go wrong, fewer things seem to go wrong when we remain calm and empathetic. We also, I think this is kind of teaching us to, sorry, my husband was calling me. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm getting old. My kids will be really good at school and stuff, and then they'll come home and they've, you know, controlling their emotions all day at school, you know, because they don't want to act out. And I know that's not the case with every child. I've had some of my kids have behavioral problems at school as well. But for the most part, they wait till they get home. And because I am their safe person, they might take it out of me. And again, I've said this in past videos, that doesn't mean let them walk all over you, which I have let my kids do. I'm just saying, when they say fine or what, just be like, okay, like, just walk away for a minute, let them put their things away, you know, give them 30 minutes to decompress or grab a snack or whatever it is, text a mad text to their friend, and then maybe try again. And I've found because it is still hard for me, because right away I'm like, you know, don't talk to me that way, or why are you acting like that? When I find when I back off a minute and I don't take it personally, usually within half an hour to an hour, they're gonna open up, and you know, they've gotten some food in their body. Because I don't know about you, but my junior high and high schoolers, they don't eat lunch, they don't pack a lunch, they go to school like, oh, we don't want to wait in line, and that doesn't help either. And I keep telling them, even if you take a granola bar or an apple, like, eat something, because your blood sugar is dropping, you're having to sit and listen and concentrate, and then you're smelling food, and then you're not eating right, and then by the time you get home, your body is starving, so then they want to, you know, pig out on junk food, and then it's dinner time, and then they're not hungry. And it's just a vicious cycle that I'm really working hard trying to break my kids from. And sometimes, like, certain medications make them not hungry, which doesn't help. And it's just, you know, you just have to kind of assess all situations that it's probably, they're not mad at you, they're just mad at something that maybe their friend said, or they're just hungry, or they didn't get enough sleep the night before. All those things play huge factors. So one of the examples they have, I'll just read it really quick. It says, the closer we look, the more it becomes apparent that empathy is the key, and that the most effective parents seem to understand the importance of displaying love and understanding before holding their children firmly accountable for their actions. We often overhear these great parents say things like, this is so sad. I love you so much. You left your bike out all night and it got stolen. That is very sad. How are you planning to pay for another one? Oh man, this is sad. I talked to your teacher today. The sad thing is that the time I spent talking to her about your behavior was the time I had set aside to clean up the dog poop out in the yard. When do you expect to do that for me now. I'm so thankful that you are okay. It must have been really scary when you ran into that other car. Assuming this is probably a teenager with a license. I love you and I want you to be able to drive again as soon as possible. Just as soon as you have that damage paid for, you can be back out on the road. Those are examples of situations where you're being very understanding and calm and empathetic, letting your child know that I still love you, but there are consequences for your actions. And that goes for when they have a problem with a friend as well. Let them get it out and then say things like, it's so sad that, Lindsay was using you to get to your boyfriend. Like, what do you think you might do about that? But give it time. And sometimes, and we learned this more in like the last chapter, you can do things where you can ask them, do you want my opinion or my advice? And if they say no, don't give it, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to come back and say, hey, what were you going to say? But I think we can get to that later. It says to making empathy more natural. That's just, again, like you can create your own one-liners. It just goes through it again, like, oh, that is so sad. Who was it? I had one of my kiddos come, they had to go to school on Monday because here on Mondays for the junior high and high school, it's kind of like a work day. So if you're missing assignments or you didn't get things done, they use the Mondays to get caught up. Well, one of my kids decided to not do any of their work during the week, and so they had to go to school on Monday, and they were the only one that had to go to school on Monday, and they were very upset about it. And I was like, that is such a bummer that you have to get up early and go to school while everybody else sleeps in. Like, how do you think you can fix that this upcoming week? That's having empathy, but letting them know that they made a poor choice and now they have to pay the consequence for that choice. Let me know if that makes sense. It sounds so easy to do, like when you read the book, but it's so hard when you're in the moments. And I think that's why they tell you to visualize different scenarios. So it just says over the next few days, memorize those things. This is so sad. Oh no, that's never good. What a bummer. Oh man, dang. And you can find these videos. It's written by Charles and Jim Fay, a father-son team. You can find the YouTube videos. They have some really great ones. Or you can rent like stuff from the library. They have them on DVD. It says when you don't know what to do or you're too angry to think straight. So say like the situation with the teenager getting, wrecking the parents' car. Your first instinct is to be like, I'm so glad that they're okay. You're not, in the ER or something. But once they're okay, you know that they're okay. Your first instinct is probably to be really angry that they have wrecked the car. Now your insurance is going to go up, and you might be out of car if it's got to go to the shop, and you might have to pay, the damage. That's why your insurance is going to go up, and just all these things. And it says when you don't know what to do or you're so angry to think straight, delay that consequence. Sleep on it. Come up with some different ones, write them down, discuss it with your partner, and then, and then that kid thinking, oh man, when's mom and dad gonna give me my consequence? Am I in trouble? And if they ask you, like, what's gonna happen? What are you guys gonna do? Or, what am I told? Just say, this is really sad, but we're still talking about it. So when you don't know what to do, just delay that consequence until you do know what to do, because you don't want to say something like, you're just not going to drive for the next 5 years. Or, I do that, and it's very normal to do that, and I think we're all guilty of it. Like, I'll say things like, let's say you're not having your phone or your laptop for the next 2 months, and then, 2 days later, they have it back. So I'm trying to get out of that habit myself, where you make empty threats that you're not going to follow through with. So again, when you're angry, it's one time I'm not going to lie, I had one of my kids get brought home by the cops because they snuck out after curfew when they were staying the night at a friend's. And yeah, my first reaction when your kid gets brought home by the cops is to be pissed. But they brought this child home. And I told the cops, sorry, thank you. I'm glad that, they're pressing charges. I mean, they were just out of they were just out after curfew. So it wasn't nothing too major, but still it's embarrassing that your kid's getting brought home by a police officer. So this kid was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like what's gonna happen? And I was just like, you just go to bed and me and dad will discuss it and we'll talk about it later. And that worked so well because I had time to sleep on it and digest it. And then when I was ready to talk to this kid and get their side of their story, and then we dealt with what the consequence would be. So this is, I'm going to have to, these are just examples. I'm going to have to do something about this, but not now, later. Or no problem. I love you too much to fight about this. I will take care of this later. And then it says, so in the next session, we can talk about the secret to setting enforceable limits, how to teach kids to listen the first time we ask, a powerful technique for very young children. So I guess we can touch on that because I know some of my viewers have younger kiddos, and more ideas for taking good care of ourselves, which I totally struggle with. So that's it for today's Tea Tuesday. I hope some of that made sense, or I hope that it made sense and that some of it was helpful. And I'm going to be doing our trick-or-treat video tonight, and I will not be filming probably the whole week of November 13th because we have to go to court for some stuff, and so I don't want to, that's already stressful, so I don't want to stress myself out with, oh my gosh, I'm not, putting out videos this week. Not that I have a huge amount of people that watch my videos, but I do have my loyal viewers that I appreciate so much. So that week I probably will not be making a video, so I apologize. But that, and if I do make a video, great, but I wouldn't count on it because we'll probably be in court from Monday until Friday. So I hope everybody has a safe and happy Halloween. Make sure you're taking precautions out there, and don't just wear super dark clothing where cars can't see you. And make sure, even with your older kids, I tell my teenagers, even my 18-year-old, if you're gonna go out, do the buddy system. Make sure you have somebody with you. Let me know where you're going, that type of thing, because the world can be scary, but it also can be fun. So have fun out there tonight, be safe, and I will talk to you guys later. Chicken tendies, bye.